The US and Russia are preparing for Planet X Nibiru arrival and aftermath. Russia has just completed 5,000 shelters in Moscow alone. Russia is much more open in declaring what they've been doing with underground shelters. On this topic, anyway, much more open than other governments have been of other countries. It's estimated that the US probably has over 150 deep underground military bases. It's a huge military underground city existing underneath the Denver airport. Russia has some that can accommodate over 100,000 people at the base of mountains. These underground bunkers are entire underground cities that have been under construction since the 1980s. The far greater electromagnetic fields of Planet X are estimated to cause great earthquakes greater than the highest level of 9.5 magnitude known to date. Planet X will also cause volcanic eruptions, tsunamis, and a shift of the physical poles of the Earth. It's now public knowledge that government agencies are on a need-to-know classification, intra-agency basis, and that they never publish information in advance which could cause a panic or any type of economic or disruption of everyday lives of the people. But if we do research, we'll run into different levels of disinformation. Some of this is from uneducated members of public, and some of it is very likely on purpose. So we have to be careful as to what we read when we research. Until the discovery of Planet X, astronomers, even NASA, regarded the writings of ancient Sumerians about this object as legend. But when Planet X was discovered in 1983, astronomers suddenly learned that the Sumerians were not the primitive people that they have been made out to be, the intellectuals and scientists of the present day. Now, when Pioneer 10 was sent out by NASA to study Planet X, it encountered a mysterious force, and this force was named the Pioneer Anomaly, and that baffled NASA scientists. It was gently pushed against by the force of the magnetosphere of Planet X, and it moved in the opposite direction back towards the Sun. Its forward momentum was decelerated. So Pioneer was traveling towards the right of Nibiru at that point, and this points to two things taking place. Number one, that Nibiru's outer magnetic force is so strong that it can affect objects 46.8 AU from Nibiru. That's Pioneer's approximate distance at that time. And point two, that Nibiru's magnetism rotates in a clockwise fashion because that is the only way it could push Pioneer back when the deep space probe was flying to the right of it. If it rotated anti-clockwise, then Pioneer 10 would be traveling in the same direction. It would push the probe slightly forward and to the right of its trajectory. The effect would then have been the opposite, as the probe would have been seen to accelerate and not decelerate on its drift. The real reason for the Hubble Space Telescope was not to explore the solar system and the universe. The real reason for spending billions of dollars to construct this telescope, place it in orbit, and then immediately place parts on it was for the purpose of viewing inbound Planet X Nibiru. I'll leave a link below for you for a video you can watch. A June 6, 2011 interview with a Hubble insider states this fact in the Hubble's purpose. In other words, the Hubble Space Telescope was constructed for the purpose of viewing and investigating Planet X. This insider, who worked on the Hubble Space Telescope, states that he watched it, he observed Planet X Nibiru through this telescope, and he states that, quote, "This thing looked like it was across the street, and the Hubble got cut off, and they encrypted it, and that was the end of any transmission we had to watch," end quote. Nibiru, or Planet X, as referred to by the Vatican as also being wormwood, has a mass that is 3 to 5 times the mass of Jupiter, so we can imagine how huge this thing is. Its composition is cesium, iron oxide, iron, oxygen, and ozone. This is what, according to some astronomers, say concerning the Hubble Insider, who also stated it has several planets and moons orbiting it. They say that there are seven planets or moons surrounding this huge Nibiru Planet X, wormwood body, celestial body, and innumerable asteroids accompanying it. This insider also claims that most major governments of the world already know about this existence of this planet and the systems of moons orbiting it, and they're keeping it a secret from the world populace. This object is huge, and until recently, it is a red dwarf star visible only in the infrared spectrum. The alleged agent claims that the government is monitoring the system and that in 2008 it could be seen in high detail with infrared telescopes. This is a recent image taken of the system. This is from 2014. Nibiru Planet X is coming at us like a runaway freight train, say Planet X researchers. It's also known as Planet X. Nibiru, the gigantic celestial object, is a hidden member of our solar system. It swings around the sun in a long arc, and the planet is allegedly inhabited by a race of aliens called the Anunnaki, the Nephilim, who are identified as quote-unquote gods in ancient Mesopotamian mythology, as described to us by Zecharia Sitchin in his book Planet X. And this Nibiru Planet X swings around every 3,600 years or so. According to Zecharia Sitchin, it's a rogue planet whizzing by the Earth, and it comes close enough for the Anunnaki to get here to teach us, observe us, dazzle us with their alien technology, and occasionally, once in a while, tinker with human DNA. The Sumerians and Babylonians thought they were the gods because they had no frame of reference for aliens. Sitchin says that the Anunnaki exploited the situation by enslaving humans and stealing our most valuable natural resources, namely gold. In the book of Genesis, this gold is referred to as monatomic gold. So Sitchin's interpretations of the ancient Sumerians and Babylonian texts claim to have thousands of data points indicating that an ancient astronaut scenario is the best explanation for early human cultural development in the Middle East. His evidence suggests that Nibiru was a home planet of invaders of our planet Earth, and he wrote book after book promoting radical theses of alien intervention despite being ridiculed by the scientific and academic world. Recently, we've had confirmation from NASA that there exists a brown dwarf star relatively close to Earth, quote unquote. This was a team of NASA scientists, cosmologists, astronomers that keep their eye on the skies and they've confirmed that this is a very dangerous celestial body found, quote, relatively close to Earth, and it was a near-Earth object that was hazardous to us, endangering us. They've also supplied us with various images of celestial bodies newly found, such as rogue planets and celestial bodies 4 or 5 times the size of Earth, or even Jupiter. Independent researchers are therefore convinced that Nibiru may be coming back very soon. And they fear that this time it'll be too close to Earth, setting off a chain reaction of gravitationally induced geological catastrophes such as pole shifts, crust displacements, massive earthquakes, and supervolcano eruptions. And people also state that they have evidence, abundant evidence, in the forms of images captured by amateurs, as well as NASA and the Hubble telescope. As we said, showing various planets lurking in our or close to our solar system. There are those skeptics that keep dismissing the alleged Nibiru evidence, and they accuse Nibiru evidence hunters of misidentifying ordinary objects in space or misinterpreting image effects like lens flares. So if Nibiru were out there, professional astronomers would have no trouble seeing them or detecting gravitational effects on the orbit of other planets. The point is, though, recently the various asteroids and meteors that have impacted Earth's atmosphere were not found by NASA, but by amateur astronomers. So it's not surprising that pro-Nibiru fanatics are unimpressed by these assertions. They're convinced that the Nibiru evidence is real, and it proves that some version of Sitchin's thesis is correct. It's a reality. They also say that Nibiru evidence would be available if the government wasn't covering all this up. Nibiru enthusiasts first claimed that Planet X Nibiru would make its appearance close to Earth in the year 2003. And when that didn't happen, they decided to change the date to 2012 to coincide with the Maya calendar prophecies. And of course, that didn't happen either. So at this point, there seems to be no good reason to believe in Nibiru or Planet X. But we do have some interesting images coming from NASA as well as amateur astronomers and stargazers.